Hi, everybody. Well, I'm on my way home today from Malaysia and Singapore. Something on a trip that I don't normally do. I'm a cruiser. I love cruising and everything, but this opportunity came by right in the middle of some other trips that I had planned. It was relatively inexpensive for the type of trip it is. Um, and it's a bus tour. A bus tour. I don't do bus tours, but this one was a little different. And let me tell you what made it so much fun. So, first off, we had 10 people with us. Two of them were representatives of Exotic Journeys, part of Travel Brands. And what they do is um, they'll set up tours and small tours, but it's a customized trip and they have them to places all over the world. Just last night I was looking at the Maldives and some of the tours they had there. I was looking at their Africa trips. I was looking at their Japan trips. They have tours everywhere, varying in ranges, and you can go in and you can book and you can do 3-star hotels all the way up to 5-star hotels. And what it is that you'll have a guide meet you when you arrive at the destination. They'll make sure you're settled. You can have a guide for the entire trip. You can have a guide just to meet you, get you settled in the hotel if you're staying there, say 7-8 days, etc. And they wanted to show us a little bit about what they do, so they organized this trip, and it's a whirlwind. It was a whirlwind trip. Normally, this is not what we would do. You would normally be staying 2 to 3 nights each time you're stopping at a location, and we did a trip that might have taken 14 days, and we basically did it in 6 to 7 days. So it was a very rushed tour for us as agents because we had to go and see a bunch of things. Now, there was only one person I knew from this entire trip that I have met before, and that was Jessica, and she's with Exotic Journeys, and she used to be with Travel Only. And then during the pandemic, when everything was shutting down and everything, she kind of needed a steady paycheck and she moved her expertise over to Exotic Journeys. And they are all the better for it, having her there, because she is very, very good at what she does. So, so she was there and we were traveling around with basically 8 travel agents. So a whole group of 10. And I had never met these folks before. I had never, spent time with them or anything like that. And so that's always an iffy thing, right? When you're traveling in a group. Because now you're having dinners together, you're having breakfast together, you're hanging out together, you're on a bus together the entire time, you're doing the tours together. And if your personalities all clash or you have people on there who you just don't get along with, it can really ruin the adventure for you. And let me tell you, this trip was exactly the opposite. I met some wonderful, wonderful people on this trip. People who were easygoing, rolled with the punches, just as happy sitting by a pool and relaxing by the pool as off adventuring someplace and walking. And we had all kinds of things that happened. We had lost luggage. We had a hotel switch on us when we were expecting a 5-star, and we ended up in a 3-star. We had one poor lady who ended up having her ankles kind of get infected and sore and started like having a rash around it, making it hard to walk. And they just powered through. They just kept going and powered through this. And that really makes a difference when you're on a trip like this. It's not always easy. That's one of the things I really like about our group cruises when we go on a group cruise, is that almost every single person is very like-minded, very just, I can't wait to go cruising. I just want to have a good vacation. Let's have some fun. And I find that has happened on every single group cruise that I've been on. It's been terrific. And I cannot thank everybody enough as we get ready for our next one, which is in December, just a few weeks away now. Getting very excited about that, getting that all organized now ahead of time. But we traveled on this one. It was a lot of travel, folks. Here's an example. Train from Ottawa to Montreal. Montreal flight to Vancouver, 5.5 hours, 6 hours. Vancouver to Singapore was 16 hours. Then we had a 3.5 hour layover and an hour flight to get to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. We got to Kuala Lumpur. We started for, I think it was 4 days, 3 days? 4 days. And then we had another flight to go to an island. That was another hour. And then we spent 2 days there. And then we had another flight to Singapore for another hour and a half to do a day in Singapore. And then the day after we arrived in Singapore, we were flying 15 hours home to Vancouver, and then 5 hours home to Montreal, where I'm at currently, and I still slept overnight here, and now I have a train going back to Ottawa. So almost as much traveling to get to the destination and home as we were at the destination. And it was all back to back to back to back. And was anybody like angry? Was anybody upset or in a foul mood the whole trip we were on? Absolutely not. Everybody was engaged. We were, all participating in everything there was to do. It was, we got there. The first real main excursion we had, besides a quick city tour, but like our destination on the bus, was to the Batu Caves. And the first thing they said, remember, we had just traveled for over 2.5 days, 3 flights, a train to get there, no sleep, hardly at all, and we're off on a bus, and we get to the Batu Caves, and the guide goes to us and says, yeah, it's 267 steps to the top, and it's straight up like this. And we're going, oh my God, who's gonna do this? And everybody did it. And it wasn't as hard as we thought it was going to be, but just, in your mind, you're going, oh my God, I got to climb these stairs right away. And that really makes a trip. It really makes a trip when everyone can not be nitpicky, not be, yes, you can be a little, we were upset a little bit that we were supposed to be at this one over-the-water bungalow type hotel, and we ended up in a 3-star beach cottage kind of resort that was rated that way as well. But did that let us, did we just mope around and say we don't want to do anything else and get us out of this hotel or anything like that? Nope, we just rolled with the punches and kept going. And I really appreciate everybody out there on this trip, and I really appreciate Jessica and Lydia, who helped organize this group from Exotic Journeys, and I think I will be doing more with them in the future, just for some of my land getaways that I want to do, and maybe attach a few trips to some of my cruises that I'm going to do. So for instance, if I go to Japan again, take a cruise around Japan and everything like that, and then take maybe a 5 to 7 day tailored land excursion to go with it and tie them together. So we'll have to see how that goes in the future, but I just wanted to say having people who are easygoing in your group, boy, it makes all the difference in the world.